Okay. We had to go off because one of the students had a Bob the Builder computer and I don't know what it was doing. So, no, I was just doing something funny in one of her jobs. So if it's not doing what I'm telling you to do, get out of it, go into a different job, and try it again. Okay? And that's what we needed to do, and then it started doing it, okay? So sometimes it'll act a little bit funny. Sometimes you need to get completely out of it. So get out of that job and get back into the lesson player. Guys, those are super cool because one, you're going to hear okay and all right a ton. And attorneys say it all the time. All right. So when you went to the store, blah, 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 yes, sir. Okay. Well, then, blah, 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 yes, sir. Okay. Well, then, and okay, and all right, and okay. And, you know, sometimes they're going so fast that you don't have time to type it. You don't have to type it every time. Alt 1, okay. Alt 2, all right. Alt 3 is comma, you know, comma. And they say it all the time. Yeah, you know, the time that we went to, and it's not, you know the time. So be careful where the punctuation is, okay? Because you know the time that we went to the park, or you know the time that we went to the park. You see how it's totally different and takes on a totally different meaning? Punctuation is important, guys, okay? All right, any questions about that?
Are you saying that you'll, while they're talking, you'll do that, or you come back in to the transcript after?
Well, I mean, like I have my you know, totally different as you know. Does that make sense?
When it's like a little,
like
yeah,
when he
little
says,
tick that they
you
say.
know the time that we went, I don't hear it the same. I don't hear it the same as, you know, the time that we went to the thing.
So you're saying you have different strokes?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So I do you know, so I'm doing it in 2 different strokes. I mean, unless I'm behind that I need to catch up, then I'll use the you know, and then I'll just go back and change it whenever I'm editing. But you have to be careful with that. Pay attention. You have to be careful when you do that, because if they ask you to read back and you read it back that way, it takes on a different meaning. Okay? So
one is with punctuation, the other one is without.
one is without,
Oh,
yeah,
so
and
it has
it's
to-
totally different meanings. Okay?
As long as you can remember, just go back and edit, right?
I do it 2 different ways because I hear it different.
Okay.
People's brains are you know, people can say things and they don't hear it the same, okay? I don't hear, you know that time that we went to the store? I hear it, you know that time we went to the store? I don't hear it as, you know, that time we went to the store. Totally different meanings. I don't hear it the same way. And you shouldn't hear it the same way because it's different meanings, okay? That's why I stroke it differently. So I already have my asterisk UN as you know. And the other one is just YOU and then KNOW. Okay? So it's stroked differently to me. All right. Any questions about that lesson that we just went over on movements? No? Okay. Now we're going to come to oops and delete. How do you enlarge?
Shift Control F7.
Control Shift F7.
Which lesson are we in? Because I closed out on the other one.
Oops and delete.
Okay.
Right here. So if you ever have any questions about where we are because you weren't paying attention, that'll tell you right there, okay? Or if you're drunk or whatever and you come in late, that'll tell you right there. Oops and delete, all right?
Okay.
So, in hyperkeys, it's what? For the oops,
Z.
Z, okay? And D is delete. Now Shift Z is the last edit point, okay? And Shift D is delete a character or mark block. Remember? So if you want to delete one just character, then it's Shift D. Remember?
Yes.
Okay. And it's going to kind of tell you that right now anyway.
Let's see how the oops and delete keys work. The oops key can undo editing steps. The command is Control-Z or hyperkey Z. For example, if I add a suffix to specific and I pick the wrong one, I could use the oops key to
You see what it did? So even if you add a wrong ending, it's not that big of a deal. You push the oops, it's going to change it to something different. Do you see what it did? Did y'all see what it did? Or were you playing with your fingers?
I was writing.
Did you see? What did it do?
We changed the thing over there.
To what?
Why are you testing me?
Pay attention, guys. I'm just playing with you guys. I'm just kidding around, okay? But if I find that you're not paying attention, you're going to get it by playing around, okay? It's really important because you're going to freak out the first time you see it, okay? So I'm going to back it up just a little bit for those that were playing with their finger.
to specific and I pick the wrong one.
So you see what it did? It added the D, it added the IED, okay? Now he remembers that, you know what? I don't need that. I need to change it. Look what it does. Pay attention.
Could use the oops key.
You see what it did? It went back to specify, which is not the way you spell it, but what it does is Eclipse goes back and cuts it off where it put the ED. And then the oops again puts it back to where it was. You see? So he hit it twice. So he had to hit the oops twice. So if it doesn't do it, do it again, do it again, do it again. Keep doing it until it gets back to where you were. Because if you did like 2 or 3 commands and you're like, oh man, I need to back up. Well, you've already done 2 or 3 commands and you push that oops and it's like, I need to go back to the one before. Do it again, until it gets back to pretty close to where you need it to be. And then if it's still not there, then you can still edit it a little bit, okay? But it's pretty important because the first time it happens, you freak out and you're like, that's not what I needed it to be. It was specific. It wasn't specified with an I, which isn't right anyway, okay? So that's why it's important, because you just hit the oops key twice, okay? Got it?
To undo my mistake. I like to think of the command to move back to my last edit point as a movement oops key. The default speed key is Shift-Alt-L, but the hyperkey is capital Z, that is Z with the Shift key. If I accidentally give a command that loses my editing spot and perhaps opens a dialog, I'll immediately press the Escape key and not do any further editing until I've pressed the movement oops key.
Which is just Z, okay? So sometimes you're gonna go through there and you got, oh, I need to type this word. Well, you're still in hyperkeys. And it happens, guys. It didn't happen to me, but no, it does. It still happens, okay? Because your mind is just, you know, you're editing so fast and, I mean, you just kind of get brain dead after you've been on that computer a while, okay? So it happens. And it's not that big of a deal. You hit the wrong key and it opens up this box right here.
A dialog.
It's gonna send you 47 pages down, and now you're filling in a blank somewhere, 47 pages down somewhere. Don't freak out. Escape gets you out of this, because that's all you need to do. Just escape out of there, or the little X, and then just start hitting Z, and it takes you back to the last spot where you were, where you wanted to do something, okay? So don't freak out.
I'll immediately press the Escape key and not do any further editing until I've pressed the movement oops key. To delete a whole word, just press hyperkey D or speed key Control backspace. Here I doubled this word.
And you know, they're just telling you a different way of doing it. Seriously, you're gonna get your hand off that thing to press Control backspace. You know, get your boyfriend or husband to get one of these sticks and whack you with it when you do something crazy like that. It's just completely unnecessary, okay? Now they give you different ways of doing it, okay? Just like I gave you different ways of doing stuff, and I told you it's really not the way to do it, but if you want to, and it works better for you that way, on the control arrow over, help yourself. More power to you. If you can do it that way, I do it that way. I probably shouldn't tell you that, but I do. But I do it quick. I don't even think about it anymore. I mean, my finger automatic, I don't have to look down to where the control is. It automatically goes over there, and I start arrowing over, and it just starts shooting over. I don't have to worry about it, okay? If I need to move a character, and that's what it is, it's a control arrow, okay?
Delete it. To delete one character at a time, press hyperkey capital D, or use the delete key on your computer keyboard. Sometimes you rewrite a line and then you want to delete it during editing. Control Y will delete or yank the text of the entire line.
You see what it's telling you right there? Okay, now you can get anywhere in your little lesson, okay?
Okay.
Get on a line and do Control Y. See what it did? Now do Z. And it should bring it back. But it'll delete that whole line. The whole line. Okay? So if you need to delete this whole line, just get up here and do Control Y, and it deletes this whole thing, but it deletes that also. So be careful. So if you need the speaker there, but you just need this deleted, but you need this to come up, then put it right here and just start deleting. Or mark it, which is what? Mark,
X.
mark,
M.
M. M. Okay? So you just mark, or F7. F7 marks also. Okay? So do F7 and just keep pushing F7 and you'll see. So you can mark as much text as you want right there. Okay? Or if you're in hyperkeys, you just do M. Okay? So I'm giving you different ways of doing it. But Control Y deletes the whole line. Okay?
But Alt Y will only delete from your cursor position to the end of the line.
You see what it's telling you right there? So if you need that speaker, but you want to delete this to the end of the line, which is only right there, then it's Alt Y. So it's going to delete to the end of the line. Okay? Got it? And you can try it. Do the Alt Y. And then push Z. Should put it back. See what it did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Everyone? Maybe? She's asleep? Maybe? I'm going to take it that she knows. All right. So, to the end of the line. All right?
And Shift Alt Y will delete from cursor position to the end of the paragraph.
Got that? Another pretty cool thing right there. All right? And it's Shift Alt Y. So try it. And then Z to put it back. Did you try it?
Yes. Got it.
You got it?
It's pretty cool.
Okay. Pretty talkative today. It's Yolanda, right?
Veronica?
Veronica, that's what I said. Veronica, you got it? Okay. Yes, every now and then would help. But if not, I mean, just kind of do whatever. So I got it? So,
Good.
Control Y is what?
Deletes the whole line.
Deletes just the line, that whole line, whatever's on that line. So be careful, okay? Alt Y deletes to the end of the line, and Shift Alt Y deletes to the end of the paragraph, okay? So if you mess up, all you have to do is Z. Okay, so it deletes too much. You want it to delete the line and you accidentally push Shift Alt Y and it deletes the whole paragraph. Don't freak out. Don't start typing, hit Z. Because once you start typing, it doesn't remember anymore. So you just messed up the command and it may not go back. It may, but it's probably not. Okay?
Let's say I included the wrong certificate page in this transcript. I could hit the mark key, then control page down to get to the end of the file, and then press the delete key. Eclipse will ask if I really want to delete that much of the document, and in this case, I'll answer yes.
That's what's kind of cool about marking the stuff with that, with F7. It's going to ask you, it always, like on big functions, it's always going to ask you, are you sure you want to do this? Yeah, okay. So it's not automatically going to do it, but if it does automatically do it, then you just hit the Z and it'll put it back, okay? But if you have like, you know, and I've done it, you know, where I went into block files, I didn't mean to put my title page in there. Well, my title page is 4 pages long because it has the title page, appearance page, the witness page, and it's 3 pages, I'm sorry. So now you have 3 pages of stuff that you need to delete, okay? So instead of going in there and doing Control Y on every line, and you can, and 45 minutes later when you're done, then you can start editing your job again, okay? No. Mark it, delete it, okay? And that's how you do it. F7, mark whatever you need to go down to, and then push delete. And it's gonna ask you, are you sure you want to delete all of this? Yes, deletes it.
Oops, can I go back and do it?
Yeah, so
Okay.
even if you made a mistake and it's like, oh man, I did need that, push the Z and it should go back. Don't do another command before you do it. Or don't write something else before you do it, and it should go back.
How do you mark a place on the page again?
Alt X.
Cool.
No, I just closed out my entire Eclipse.
It did?
Yeah.
Okay. It's Shift X. Shift X.
Are we gonna play with that one?
Sorry about that. Shift X marks it.
And what was M? M goes back to it?
M marks it. It should be Shift V. Goes back to it.
Oh,
Shift V.
Be like Bob or
Huh?
shift what goes back to it?
V.
Okay,
like Veronica.
As in Vav. V-O-V.
shift
As in Victor.
goes back.
Then what was the M for?
Mark.
Cool.
Shift M or just little m?
So if you want to highlight some stuff and mark it, mark is,
Right.
do it.
So
Yeah.
Shift M,
No, V.
Shift V.
So Shift X marks it,
Nope.
and then do Alt G 99,
You're telling me V and X. I'm really
Yeah.
confused.
X, Shift X marks it, the spot,
Right.
and then you can go wherever you want, and then do
Oh,
Shift
V
V,
goes back.
brings it back.
So Shift X and Shift
V as in Vav.
Cool. Okay.
As in Victor, it's V, not B.
So when you're highlighting something, instead of like dragging your mouse or something like that, you know, how do you, I guess that's my question. Maybe I'm not asking it appropriately.
Yeah.
So I mark it. Like I'm on hyperkey and I have pressed
M.
the Shift X to mark it. Is that
It
right?
marks the spot.
Okay, so now
It
how do
doesn't
I-
mark, it doesn't start marking your text. It just marks the spot, and then you can go somewhere else in the thing. Say the attorney calls, and you're already working on, Dave, I need that job. I don't care what it costs, give me that job. Okay, well, I just started working on it. Guy calls you 20 minutes later. Dave, I need to know how much it is. Okay, well, there's an easy way to do it. You can look down here and kind of see how many pages it is, but I'm giving it to you as an example, okay? So you mark the spot, which is Shift X. So all it's going to do, and look what it does. Shift X, pay attention, just marks the spot. It just marked it. So now I'm going to go Alt G, 99, so I went to the bottom of the page. Oh yeah. So now I do Shift V. Now it takes me back to the place that I marked. That's all it does.
Okay.
It's not marking,
Okay.
globaling, marking. No. It's bobbing.
X and V.
X
Okay.
and V. Is that what you were asking? Bree?
Yeah.
On how to mark it
Yeah.
and then go back to it? X and V. So it's Shift X, Shift V. Okay? Okay, so now it's kind of your turn right here, so your turn thing, so you can kind of go back and do the, you know, the stuff right here. So if you want to mess with it, you can.
Right. Cool.
So it's right here, it has the double S, and I just did it. You see how it has the double S?
Yes.
So you're right here on this, and it's like, oh, that has two S's. What are you going to do? What shaves the word?
Oops.
What shaves?
Yes.
Work with me.
Got it.
Work with me. We're not splitting the atom. All right? S, and you'll see it right there, shaves back. Okay? Shaves back. Got that?
Yes.
Yeah? No? Yeah? All right. So what if you need to shave forward to delete that character?
L. Right?
Huh?
The right arrow key?
No, no, no. You want to delete one character. One character. No. Delete one character. Not the whole word. Delete one character.
Shift D.
Shift D. So Shift D, you see how it deleted one character. So it's going to be the character that your prompt is on. Okay? X puts it back. See how it put it right there with the word? That's not what I wanted it to do. But you hit Z again and it puts it back. Got it?
Yes.
You can also do the Shift J, Shift L things too. Okay? It's kind of telling you that right there. Any questions about that? Oops and delete. No?
Nope.
All right. Get out. Let's see what the next one is. Okay, now we're going to talk about trouble spots. Okay, kind of went over it a little bit. I kind of explained to y'all kind of what it is. On the trouble scan, the untranslates, the conflicts, and the unresolved conflicts. Okay?
Clips offers a large number of scans as well as multi-scan for quick editing of your document. You can scan forward or backward, looking for any of several items, but the most basic trouble spots are untranslates and unselected conflicts. Here's the toolbar icon to scan to trouble spots. It will stop on untranslates, conflicts that have not yet been selected.
So that's what an untranslate is, okay? You understand that? Untranslate is something that's not in your dictionary or that you misstroked and it's coming out in steno, okay? So all of these are in different colors. You notice that? And they all mean something different. Pay attention to your transcript when you're doing it because it's going to tell you exactly what it is, okay? Got it?
Got it.
And blanks that have not yet been filled with information. Untranslates, conflicts that have not yet.
Remember the conflicts? Your and your? Guys, you should stroke it differently, but if you don't, then you create a conflict, okay? And you're gonna have conflicts, and if you do, that's how you resolve them. So it's gonna come out like this. So it's in a totally different color. Well, when it's fixed in your document, is that your or a contraction your?
Sure.
First.
The first one. So you just push number 1, puts it in there, okay? But it, right now it's just kind of telling you what it's doing.
Have been selected, and blanks that have not yet been filled with information. Of course, it's faster to use hyperkey T or speed key Control T, as in trouble.
You see what it's telling you? So all you have to do, if you want to go in there and go to all of your trouble spots, you can do that. If you're in hyperkeys, it's just T. So every time you push T, it's going to go to the next trouble spot. So try it where you are right now and see if it should go to a trouble spot because they should have a your turn. Did it?
Yes.
Push it again.
Yep.
And it'll just go to the next one, next one, next one. So if you took a job that day and you want to go through and fix all of your trouble spots before you start editing because you think it's going to save you some time, and it does a little bit, then you can go through and do it. All of your trouble spots, okay? And that's how you do it. Instead of having to go through and arrow down to try to find every, really? No, okay?
But you may want to target untranslates only, or go just to the next conflict, perhaps an unselected conflict. There are hyperkeys for these purposes, as well as speed keys. Multi-scan automatically repeats your last scan.
You see what it just told you? Slick? Automatically goes to your last scan. So if you wanted to keep doing it, that's how you do it. Make sure that your multi-scan is on.
Enter. Like if the multi-scan's on, all you have to do is push enter?
No, it should go to the next one automatically.
It just automatically goes
Yeah.
to the next one.
So once you fix it, it should go to the next one.
I see.
Is what it's telling you right there. Okay? Let me rewind it just a bit.
Thank you.
As speed keys. Multi-scan automatically repeats well as speed keys. Multi-scan automatically repeats your last scan. So if I want to quickly go through my document.
You see what it's doing?
What is that one?
That's multi-scan. Right here. Make sure that's on. Which is Control-Shift-M, I believe. Wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Control-Shift-M. So to turn it off is Control-Shift-M also. So make sure, be careful when you have it on. Because if you don't go through and fix this thing, and you're just going to edit the document, and you come to something, and you global it, fix it, then it's going to go to the next one. So you may be on page 1, and then it sends you to page 15, or to the end of the document, because you don't have any more, and it keeps doing that. That's why it's going to keep doing it, because this thing is on.
It goes into a loop, so to speak.
It keeps repeating it. So that's what the multi is. So you have to turn it off. Okay? But if you want to go through and fix it, and you want to fix all of them at the same time, and you don't want to have to keep hitting T to, for your trouble spot, then all you have to do is put that on. And it's automatically going to go to the next one. Pay attention to what it's doing right here. Watch when he fixes it and what it does.
It's your last scan. So if I want to quickly go
So he highlights trouble, going to come in here, fix trouble, and then watch what it does after he hits enter.
through my document.
See how he didn't press anything else. He pressed enter and it automatically went to the next one. Okay? That's what that does. All right?
So you go into the multi-scan and then you push T for translate and then it'll do it like that?
Or unresolved, or C for conflict, any of those things it's going to do. So be careful, like I said, be careful with that multi-scan. Because once you start editing the document and you do something like that, and you fix a trouble spot, or whatever, if that thing is on, it's automatically going to go to the next one. Okay? So be careful with that. So if it's doing that, and it sends you to the bottom of the page, because there's no more, but it's going to send you to the bottom of the page. It's not going to say, well, there's not any more multi-scans. It's going to send you to the bottom of the page. All right? Just turn that thing off, which is
Control-Shift-M.
Control-Shift-M. All right?
Correcting untranslates. Or resolving conflicts.
You see what it's doing right there? So if you want to resolve your conflicts too, it's going to go to the next one, the next one, the next one. So if you have a lot of, conflicts, excuse me, and you do it this way, and you make a conflict out of it, you don't really need to, because I'm going to show you a way to do it, to where you highlight the word, press something, and it's automatically going to put these things in there. Or AutoMagic is automatically going to give you the thing. But if you want to create a conflict, you can. But that's all it's telling you. Okay?
Can you mark the page and then do the scan, and then at the end when it takes you to the end of the page, just go back to your marked spot?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you mark that spot?
Alt
Don't
X.
anyone tell her. Huh?
Alt X.
Alt X. And how do you
Or
get?
7.
No, it's not Alt X.
No?
What is it?
To mark it, so?
To mark it.
Let me see. I have it in my notes.
Shift X.
Shift X, yes, I just did Alt X. And I did
Shift
that.
X. So if you want to go through and you're like, you know what, I want to fix all of this stuff. It's ridiculous. I want to go through and fix it before, mark your spot, go through it. What gets you back? You. What gets you back?
Shift V.
Shift B. Very good. I'm not drunk tonight. I like that.
Then multi-scan would be the quickest
And that's what I was telling you. Control Shift M turns it on. What turns it off?
Same thing.
Control Shift M turns it off. Okay?
way to go through my document. If, however, you find that Eclipse loses your place after you create a global or resolve a conflict, check to see if you haven't accidentally turned multi-scan on.
What did I just tell you? That's exactly what it just told you right there. So if it's automatically going to the bottom of the page, it's because you have multi-scan on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
So you usually have yours off?
Oh yeah.
How do you, is there a hyperkey to get to the top of the page? Or the top of the document? How do you get to the top?
Alt
If you just
G1.
want to go Alt G1.
All G is go to page.
Yep, okay.
Can you tell me how they got the text box in there, how you can fill it in yourself? Because I pushed T, but it just goes to the words. Do you just push enter and start typing, or how did they get the little box up on there?
My box.
Where every time I went to an untranslate, the box came up and you can just type in the word you were looking for. Because T's not doing it for me. It's
Do
not pulling
you.
up the box. You?
Yeah, try you. And it may not. And it, you know what? I don't know that it was necessarily doing it for him. Maybe it was just coming up in the document. But what you're going to do is do the go up here to like press hyperkeys, that's good, and do T. And then all you do is go to T again. That one's correct. So you want to fix that one, then how do you global it?
Well, I mean, you
How
push
do you
G.
global? Yeah. G. Push G. One.
So is that the box that it was up there though?
Yeah. Push one. You want it in or that. That's all right. But like here, come up here to A and watch hers. Okay, do T, T, G, 1, hold up. Now, you want to make sure, which is always going to do it, but you want to make sure that it's in your main. Okay? But say it's something that you don't want in there. Okay? So be careful when you're doing it. But it's something that you want, so you already pressed 1. You don't have to go in there and type needs because it was already up there as one of your selections. Needs, enter, ready to go. Okay? Got it?
Perfect.
So this is kind of a your turn, little thing, and that's what we just kind of messed with on these two guys right here. So it's not that big of a deal. If you want to go in there and mess with it, help yourself. Okay, we're not gonna spend a whole lot of time on it just because of that. Okay. That's what it was saying right there that you were talking about. How do you mark your spot? You were asking how you mark your spot and go through there if you want to go through and do the multi-scan, blah, blah, blah. And that's what it's talking about right there. Shift X to get back.
Shift B.
Shift B. All right. Global replacements.
Let's see how to quickly select steno strokes to perform global replacements. Global replacements. In the Edit section of User Settings, you'll see the option Global After Scan. If there's a check in that box, here's what it does. When I scan to the next untranslate, Eclipse will automatically highlight one stroke of steno for globaling. If I need additional strokes for globaling, I can simply press Ctrl G as in global.
You see what it's telling you right there? So it's going to go to the first one, and you're going to notice on, and you can try it right now. I don't know if it's going to do it or not because usually you have to have a steno. But if there's somewhere in that document where you have, go down to your turn. Or push T. Will it go down to the next one? Did it go to something? Okay. Push G, and then push G again. See what it's doing? Does it bring up the box automatically?
Yep. G.
See, so it brings up the box automatically, okay? Now, what it's going to tell you right here is that if you want to continue to mark steno, then it's going to show you with these little arrows what to do, okay?
Well, what if I scan to an untranslate and the steno that I need to add does not come after, but before the untranslate?
See, so what they did right here was, this is his stroke for M small c, like McAllister, McCullough, all of those, okay? That's his stroke for that. So he already has it in his dictionary as MC. So you're going to see right here, it comes up M small c. Got that? But he doesn't have furs in there. And it's Mr. McFurs, okay? So what it goes to is the next untranslate. Well, it didn't go to that, but he needed to mark that because it's all one word, okay? And that's what it's telling you.
Here's where the arrows come in handy. You can target steno that comes before your starting point or after it. Although you can use the mouse to point and click, keyboard commands are
You see what it's doing? So as he's pushing these arrows, it's going forward, backward to wherever you need to mark.
The same untranslate in the document?
Yeah.
Forward and backward?
Forward and backward.
Okay.
So if you need to add the MAC and you want to add it to your main dictionary because, you know, Mr. McFurs is one of your clients. So you know that you're going to hear Mr. McFurs a lot because he uses you for his depots or whatever, then you're going to want to have it in your main dictionary. But you have MAC as MC. Does that make sense? I know what I'm wanting to say, but I want to make sure I'm explaining it correct. So you have MAC, and it automatically comes up MC. But you don't have McCullough in your dictionary. But it's going to come up MC and then color. Not colors, color, okay? So it's going to come up as an untranslate because you don't have color in there, okay? So if you want to put it in your main dictionary, you can. Or if you think it's not going to be something that you hear very often, then you don't really have to do it that way, okay? You have MAC as a prefix to something. Does that make sense? So when you went in and put MAC, you automatically have it as a prefix that is going to be M small c, okay?
generally faster. Your keyboard's up-down arrows will add or subtract steno in front of your starting point, while control-down or control-up will add or subtract steno after your starting point.
Guys, I'm not stopping a whole lot because it's really not that important. What the arrows things does and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
It's, you know, it's not that hard. The arrow up and down and the arrow over gonna do the same thing. Okay, it's just gonna add or subtract steno to what you already have. Okay?
Of course, you do not have to use automatic global after scan. I prefer to use hyperkeys that make it possible to select multiple steno strokes with one button.
Yeah. And you're gonna see what it does. And to me, I don't know, if you can think that quick, help yourself. You know, whatever. But I just kind of do Control G, but this is kind of a neat way of doing it to where if you know it's already 2 strokes, 3 strokes, 4 strokes, 5 strokes, then you just push the number, Alt plus the number, and it'll automatically do it.
So here, instead of having to press Control G 5 times, I can just use hyperkey 0 to catch the 5 strokes with one button.
You see what it's saying? It's Alt 0 is really what it is. Okay? And it'll mark those 5 strokes. Not splitting the atom again, but you know, if you want to do it that way and you know it's 5 strokes and you know that you want to mark those 5 strokes, Alt 0. So 7 is what?
2.
8,
3 strokes, or yeah.
9. Work with me, guys. Not splitting the atom. Okay? 2, 3, 4, 5 strokes is all it's telling you. And it's just an easy way to mark those 5 strokes. Okay?
Great.
Got it?
I took lots of notes.
Good. Now it's telling you right here, which is just what I told you guys just a second ago. How do you global in hyperkeys?
G.
G. 1 stroke. So if it's a 1-stroke word, then you use G. No big deal, all right? Multi-global, so if it's 3 strokes, It's Control G. So do it. I don't know if it'll let you. It may need steno. You see? So you just hold down Control and just keep doing G, and it's going to give you multiple strokes. So if it's a 4-stroke word, then you just keep holding G down. Okay? So no big deal. So if you go in and it's like, oh, you know what? I need to put this word in my dictionary, and it's 3 strokes, and you push G. No big deal. Put the arrow on there, and you can arrow over like they just showed you, or escape and then do Control G 3 times. Got it?
Got it.
How do you say what your steno means? Total eclipse lets you global at a glance. Glance at the list, pick the choice. It's that easy. Ordinary CAT systems may try to use a basic phonetics table and the spelling dictionary to try to guess what you're globaling.
So it's always going to guess. Once you global it, it's always going to guess as to what you're going to put in your dictionary. Okay? No big deal. If it's the right word, you select the right word, you go on. If it's not in there, you type in the right word. If it's spelled wrong, or it's a proper name, or it's something that's not in your dictionary, it's going to tell you that it's wrong. Okay? And there's a way that you can check the spelling.
This approach is typically not very successful and easily produces nonsense suggestions.
And sometimes it may do that. It's going to give you like nonsense stuff, and it's like, what? Parkinsonian, whatever. I don't know. Parkinseasonin, I don't know. So, I mean, just disregard it or whatever. It's not that big of a deal.
They'll only wind up adding steps to the globaling process. In contrast, Total Eclipse Global Magic is a sophisticated blend of several powerful tools. It's amazingly accurate, and it requires no extra steps. Here, with one button, I've marked 4 steno strokes for a global replacement. Eclipse automatically generates a short list of suggestions.
So it's going to give you a list of suggestions, okay? Well, it doesn't really show it, but this one right here is spelling, okay?
Right.
So if you think that it's wrong, push spelling. It's going to give you all the things that it has in that dictionary of the spellings, okay? So anything that's similar to that is going to give you spellings.
Using intelligent phonetics. No need to type or press the Alt key or scroll or use the mouse. Glance at the list, press 1, then either press Enter.
See how it has spelling right there? So you can check capitalization, all kinds of stuff. There's other stuff, and we'll kind of get to these things later. But what it's telling you right now is that you global this, that's the right selection. You want it in your dictionary because it's a word that, you know what, I'm going to use that again. So this is the way that I'm going to stroke it. That's the word. It's automatically going to put it in your main dictionary. Okay? So this is automatically going to come up. All right? And you'll see why that's important later. Okay? But pay attention.
Or place this in any dictionary I need.
Well, it came up sooner than I thought. Job dictionary. So say you're doing something and it's the Empaima, I guess that's how you say it, whatever, of whatever. But it's like, you know what? I don't want that in my dictionary. I don't know that I'm ever going to hear Empaima again. Maybe, maybe not. But what you want to do, and why it's kind of important, is put it in a job dictionary. Okay? One, it doesn't put it in your main because you don't want it in there because you're probably not going to hear it again today. Well, you know what? I have to take 6 more days of depot because somebody died from Empaima. And I think that's that thing that you get with the mosquitoes and whatever. I don't know. I'm
No
just,
idea.
whatever. So, you're going to hear it again. But I don't want it in my main dictionary. But it's important that I put it in my job dictionary because now what I'm going to do is I'm not stroking that cat out every time. I can promise you that, all right? So I went through, stroked it right the first time, and then I made a brief for it. EM for Empaima. That's 4 strokes, guys. You're not gonna stroke that every time, okay? So you do EM, okay? So now you go in, now it's EM, you globaled it again, you put Empaima, put it into a job dictionary, now it's in there. And remember when we went through that we were translating, when you translate your job or you go into real time, you go into real time and it asks you to add a dictionary, that's what it's doing right there. You just created a job dictionary that has Empaima already in there. So now you don't have to go through and global it again. You've already put the dictionary in there for the next day. It's in a job dictionary. You started the next day, you added that dictionary. Now all of those strokes that you used before, all of those briefs, it's remembering and it's automatically putting them in there. Pretty cool. Good. So that's why that's kind of important. Okay?
Total Eclipse understands it's easy to drag or drop keys when you're writing complicated steno like vancomycin. A glance at the list, the right choice jumps out at me. Choice 1. I won't put this in a dictionary, but I'll just apply it to the rest of the job.
So you can put it in a trash dictionary because it doesn't really matter. I'd kind of put it in a job dictionary because you never know when you may use it again. And at least you have it in the job dictionary, so if you ever come up and it's like, you know what, Dave, a month later, hey Dave, we've got 3 witnesses we need to take, and it's on that same case with the vancomycin. Oh yeah, the vancomycin. Really? Yeah, well you already have a job dictionary. You don't have to go through and global all of the vancomycins again, and all the people that were in that vancomycin job dictionary, which was Mr. Shashevsky, Mr. McFurs, all of those, because you already have it in there. So you have Mr. McFurs, all of that stuff in a job dictionary, and all you do is put the job dictionary in there. That makes sense?
So can you be in your main dictionary and a job dictionary all at once? Because if I've got stuff in my main dictionary, but I'm in a job dictionary, then the stuff from my main dictionary won't transfer.
Why?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Can you be in both at once?
I thought the job was.
As long as you put it in your main, it's always going to come up.
Okay, so even if you're in an actual job dictionary, your main still will be in that job dictionary.
You want to put it in your main. You won't need it for a job dictionary if you're putting it in your main, because now it's always going to come up.
Okay, but for vancomycin, you're going to put it in a job dictionary.
Unless you want it in your main, and you're going to, I mean, it's something that you hear all the time, and that's the only way you stroke vancomycin or anything close to it, and you want it in your main, then yeah. Once it goes in your main, you don't have to worry about it, because every time you open a job, or anytime you translate a job, or anytime you're in a real-time job, your main dictionary automatically comes in there.
That's what I was asking.
You don't have to worry about adding your main dictionary. You're not adding that main dictionary, it's automatically coming in there. So if you put it in your main, it's already in there. You don't have to worry about it, okay? So the next time you do vancomycin, and you're doing the vancomycin depositions again, you don't have to worry about it, because it's already in your main. But Mr. McFurs, Mr. Shashevsky, all of those cats that were in that, you know, all of those names or whatever that you have briefs for, you have to go in and put your job dictionary because they're not in your main. Make sense? Órale. See?
So your steno doesn't have to be perfect to take advantage of global matching.
And that's what it's telling you right there. Once you do it, and now you skip the letter or 2 letters, but it's somewhere close, and then remember these 3 strokes, and the 4th one is kind of close, now the global magic is automatically going to put it in there and say, last time you were even close to this word, this is what you used. Is that what you meant? Or did you mean the van of mice? Mices. The van of mices. Maybe it's the name of a band, I don't know. But you put it like that, that's how you meant to do it. No, I meant to do it this way, and it took on a totally different meaning. But I did mean to do vancomycin this way, but vanomyces I put with an ES, not the IS, and you can global it and put it in there as, every time I do it like this, I want it the van of mices. Okay? Just giving you a different example.
This time I dragged in the number bar. Total Eclipse understands. Choice 1 and enter.
So the more you use this software, the more it gets to know how you write. Okay? So the more you use it, the more it understands what you're doing. Okay? So let's just say, and you do assume this way. Assume. S long UM. Okay? Well, you were going so fast, you hit the little number bar, and now it put it in numbers. Well, U is not a number. Okay? So now it's like, well, I don't understand 150U78. I don't understand that. But it may come up as an option over here in your Global Magic as 150U78. I don't know, maybe. But it's going to say, you know what? When these numbers are put together with U, and you've done it before, it's come up as assume when they're all letters. But you just drag the number bar a little bit, so it dragged the numbers in there. This thing, the more you use it, is pretty smart. It has an artificial intelligence that's pretty smart. So it starts thinking way ahead of what you're doing. Okay? And that's what it's telling you right here.
Total Eclipse understands steno stacking. Choice 1, the suffix S followed by you have.
You see what it's doing right there? So if you stack, if you have a habit of stacking stuff, or your machine just needs to be tweaked just a little bit, or you do have you, SRU, but you just happen to drag that S when it was cities have you worked in, and it's supposed to be cities, but the S right here got dragged into have you. Understand what it's saying? Watch what it does.
We'll see it applied with it.
See what it did? So, and we'll get to that later, and it's a
Choice
totally
1
different thing.
and enter. Total Eclipse understands steno stacking. Choice.
So you know what? Now you know what? I kind of do that a lot on have you. I drag my S with have you a lot, all the time. Don't freak out. There's a way of putting it in your dictionary to where it reads it. Pay attention. There's a way of doing it to put it in your dictionary to where it does it, but if this stroke means something else, then you don't want to put it in your dictionary.
Right.
Like, if this means have you seen, I don't know. That's not the way I do it, but I'm just giving you an example. Have you seen? And you use that as have you seen, don't put it as that. Or you can, and you create a conflict. To where you can create that conflict. You remember with the little lines, and it gives you this, which is the way that you do a suffix, have you, line, what is it, backslash, and then have you seen. Does that make sense? So that's where you would create a conflict right there. Like if you do something like that and you do it all the time. Or Global Magic's gonna know that, you know what, you've corrected this one time before and you've globaled it as this, but you've also globaled it as have you seen. Then now it's going to give you the options over here in Global Magic, which is that box, remember, where it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just select the one that you need. Okay? Pay attention right here when I play it. Watch what it does to city, and then puts have you. See how it's CITY?
1, the suffix S followed by You have. We'll see it applied.
See what it did? You don't have to worry about adding the IE, the E, any of that stuff. It automatically knows how to do it. And it's the same thing when you go through and put your prefixes and suffixes, which is what?
W.
W. You don't have to worry about adding ED, IED, ES, IES, S. It already knows. All you do is put your prompt right here. You can put it anywhere in city. W, S, boom, puts it. You understand what I'm telling you? You don't have to do any of that stuff anymore. You just have to know how to properly put in your dictionary, which I'm going to show you later, and properly put in there that it's a prefix and suffix. It's going to automatically put it in there and know what to do. But if you do it wrong, it way comes out wrong. Okay, and we'll get to that a little bit later.
With intelligent spelling adjustments. How many times do you retype text as you're defining different ways of writing new?
And this is what I was telling you earlier also, is that when you go through and it's like, you know what? We're taking a deposition on Tetra Technologies. Seriously? You're going to go through and stroke Tetra Technologies every time? Help yourself. In about 6 or 7 years, when your hands fall completely off because you're stroking everything out every time, let me know how that works out for you. So you always want to work smarter, not harder. Okay? Always work smarter, not harder. So you go through and you put TET for Tetra Technologies. Okay? And they're going to show you here in just a second where he stroked it different right here. Okay? And watch what it does.
Names or terms in a job. Here I have a job dictionary entry for Tetra Technologies. The next time I wrote it, it's stacked with the period. No problem. Total eclipse.
You see how it went through and it did it? It said, well, last time you did it was pretty close to that, but now this is a period. So, over here in Global Magic, you don't have to global it again, because Global Magic is going to give you this same box of stuff. So did you mean Tetra Technologies? But you accidentally dragged the FPL in there? Or did you mean Tetra Technologies with a period? And that's what I meant. I meant number 2. No problem, press number 2, watch what it does.
Understands steno stacking. Choice 2, and it automatically offers to place this capitalized text in the job dictionary. Enter.
See what it did? Tetra Technologies, period. And it put it right here, so you really can't see it.
I'm gonna have to go. Is that okay?
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
6 to 8?
Yeah. Hey,
Okay.
hey. Now you want to teach the class, lady?
No.
Okay, we're going to finish this and then we'll go, all right?
Okay.
So it's almost done. But y'all see what it did, right? So you press number 2, which is what you wanted to do. You stack the period with it, and that's what it did.
Most of the time, you'll probably find that the suggestion you need is at the top of the list. But if Eclipse has not guessed properly, just start typing. No additional steps are needed to make the glance list disappear. A quick note, a little tweaking of your phonetics table can really help Total Eclipse tune in to your writing style. Although Global Magic combines many sophisticated features, it's easy to use. Even for editing from the steno keyboard, it can help you to quickly read your steno, greatly reduce your typing, and the more you use it, the better it gets.
And we'll talk about that later on the steno stacking or whatever, so, okay? Y'all get that?
Great.
Okay.
Very helpful.
The next part, no, I'm just
We're
kidding.
gonna do more.
Hey, do what?
Nothing.
What did you say?
So you must be out of your damn mind.
Turn that thing off. Okay.